Hi, this is Mrs. Jacobs. I'll be doing GOMath, Grade 4, Chapter 2, Lesson 2.4. We have 2 teaching points for today. First teaching point is I can estimate products by rounding. The second teaching point is I can determine if exact answers are reasonable. This lesson will be addressing standards 4.NBT.5 and a review of 4.NBT.3. Okay, so we're going to be looking at how to estimate products, and we're going to do that by rounding. So we're going to round the greater factor, then use mental math to estimate the product. Okay, so here we have 6 times 95. Step 1, round 95 to the nearest 10. And we can see 95 rounded to the nearest 10 is 100. Step 2, use patterns and mental math. So I know that 6 times 1 equals 6. And I know that 6 times 10 equals 60. So 6 times 100 equals 600. So just let me show you how that is done. Again, 6 times 95. 95 is the greater factor, so that gets rounded. So 95 rounded to the nearest 10 is 100. And the 6 stays the same. So 6 times 100 is 600. So 6 times 95 is about 600. Remember that these are not exact answers, they're estimated answers. Next, we're being asked to find 2 numbers the exact answer is between. So here we have 7 times 759. There's 2 steps. First, we're going to be estimating by rounding to the lesser 100. That also means lower 100. And step 2 is going to estimate by rounding to the greater 100 or the higher 100. So let's see how we do that. So let's look just at step 1. Okay? 7 times 759. 759 is the greater factor. So 759 rounded to the lower 100 is 700. So 7 times 700 equals 4,900. Then we go on to step 2, which is asking us to do 7 times 759, but this time we're raising to the higher or greater 100, which is 800. So 7 times 800 is 5,600. So the product is between 4,900 and 5,600. If our exact answer is between these two, then it is reasonable. If our exact answer is not between 4,900 and 5,600, then it's seen as not reasonable. All right, so I'm going to model for you how we estimate the product by rounding. Okay, just going to read over the steps. Step 1, round the greater factor only. Multiply using basic facts and the pattern strategy. So look at number 1, 6 times 316. 316 is the greater factor. So it'll be 6 times, and we're rounding 316 to the nearest 100, which will be 300. So this answer will be 1,800. Question number 2, I'm doing 5 times 29. And since 29 is the greater factor, I'll be rounding that to the nearest 10. So this will be 5 times 30, which equals 150. Number 3 is 4 times 703. The 4 stays. 703 rounded to the nearest hundred is 700. 4 times 7 is 28. 2 zeros is 2,800. And this is why we did multiplying by tens, hundreds, and thousands yesterday to help us with today's lesson. So this is how you estimate products. Next, we have to talk about reasonableness. And how we can do that is we can estimate a product to find whether the exact answer is reasonable or not reasonable. So this is how we're going to do it. Okay, I'm going to reveal all the steps first. Okay. So step 1, we estimate by rounding to the lesser hundred. Step 2 is to estimate by rounding to the greater hundred. And step 3, at last, is the exact answer should be between the lesser and the greater hundred. So let's go do a few. So number 4 asks to do 3 times 558, but I need to see and find the two numbers that the exact answer is between. Once I see this, it tells me that I need the lower or lesser hundred and the higher or greater hundred. So 3 times 558 to the lower hundred is 500, and the greater hundred is 600. So the exact answer must be between 1,500 and 1,800. Okay, next thing, 7 times 252. Again, I have to round to the lower and the higher. So 7 times 200, 7 times 300. So the exact answer must be between 1,400 and 2,100. And the last one, 8 times 361. 8 times 300 is the lower or lesser, and 8 times 400, which is the greater or higher one. So when we do the math, the exact answer should be between 2,400 and 3,200. Please copy and solve in your math notebook. Check for understanding. Estimate the product by rounding. Estimate the product by rounding. 8 times 37. 463 times 7, 5 times 1,078. After you have completed that, make sure you're copying the example and solving. Then we're going to move on to the second part, which is find two numbers the exact answer is between. We're going to copy example 1, 2, and 3 in our notebook and showing our work. So when will I be asked to estimate products? Estimating products has to do with estimating when multiplying. About how many minutes did Bob read? Approximately how many SOAR tickets did Emma receive? Let's look at an example together. So it says Jennifer saves $289 a month. If she saves her money for 4 months, about how much money will Jennifer save? So I know that Jennifer saves $289 a month, but she wants to do that and she's going to save it for 4 months. So I have to do 289 4 times. However, the word about tells us that we're estimating products. So we want an estimated answer. So $289 is about 300, rounding 289 to the nearest hundred. Doesn't matter about the dollar sign. Times 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 2 zeros. So Jennifer will save about $1,200 in 4 months. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow in class. Make sure to come prepared.